Welcome. Good to have you with me here, Claire. I'm Tigger MacGregor. I'm the co-founder of the Four Elements Company. And a couple of weeks ago, we were having a chat in our association. Claire was on the call as well, about where we'd want to see our profession in like 5 years' time. And Claire had kind of mentioned about this idea of getting massage much more in the community for people who don't necessarily have access to it. Maybe it's money, maybe it's something else, but also shifting this view of massage from it's a luxury to this is something which is about health and well-being, and it really would be wonderful if it was accessible to everything. So I asked Claire if we could have a bit more of a chat about this, because this is the kind of thing that is about getting involved grassroots and getting things going grassroots. So that's what we're chatting about today. That's a little tiny bit about me. And Claire, if you could just introduce yourself and let folks know who you are.
Okay. My name's Claire, and I've been in the doing massage, say, for about, I first started in 1994. And it's been a long journey to get where I am now. Originally, as I was doing housing management, and I realized that there was something missing in what I was doing. And I thought, yeah, it came down to touch. So I saw, it just came to me. Everything I needed came to me when I needed it. And I was a part of World Books, and you'd get a book, 2 or 3 books every month. And then they sent out this thing about a video, and that video was massage. And I thought, that's what I'm missing. And so the journey started. Without going into a long story, I decided to go back to nursing, which was my original profession before I became a housing manager. So I've done quite a few things.
You have, Claire.
And so I spent about 15 years of nursing. But within that, I was developing my massage skills, my understanding of touch, which during that period led me to what was no hands massage and now is the Four Elements.
Yeah.
And so it's been a long journey, a lot of ups and downs. I've gone up a few roads that I've decided I'm going to come back. I'm not going down there, and I've come back down, and I'm here now. And it's been a great journey. Yeah.
Fabulous. Claire, thank you. That was even I learned something there. So I'm wonderful. Thank you. So tell us about this work that you do in the community. I know it's grown over the years, but can you tell me how getting massage therapists into the community in your area, because you're based in London, how that actually started?
Well, it's a company called the Community Massage London. And it's a company that was set up by 2 people. And it was the White City Challenge champions on White City, which is an estate which is notorious for a lot of deprivation and people who are on the lower end of society. So it's a mixture of people, because you have the really affluent living in that area and the really, what you'd say, deprived people. And that's with education, with finance, quite a few, all sorts of things, people from ethnic minorities, refugees. It's a whole mixture of people living alongside each other. And so the White City champions received funding, and so they brought in massage therapists as one of the events on offer, as well as other things, because the mental health, all sorts of different issues were thrown in to this. And so it came out of the community champions, the 2 therapists who were who were attending that thought we could do something better. And so they went off and they looked for funding.
Mm.
And with community based issues like that, there's a lot of money, particularly in London. I don't know for anywhere else in the
Mm.
country, but I know in London there's funding and money put aside to develop those areas
Mm.
of the community, and so they sought the funding, and as well as that, they had training. So if you look at, I mean, I could go along and set up something if I had the mind to do it, and they were given support in setting up a business model.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have guidances, procedures, business planning,
Yeah.
but the local authority provide all of those for you
Great.
if they see that there's a need for it.
Mm.
And people bid for these fundings, and
Yeah.
so the Community Massage London, they bidded and they won the bid with the support of what the local authority had to offer.
Mm.
And so when they set up, it was mainly um, working with in areas of the community that has those kind of different needs: mental health,
Yeah.
finance, housing, homelessness,
Mm.
those kind of issues. And as well as that, people who are elderly,
Mm-hmm.
isolated, um, people with health concerns, pain, all different. So
Mm.
we see people with those concerns, and what's happened is with the, I would say, the hard work of the one of the directors in particular, because they had to have two directors
Mm.
to set this up, and one of the directors doesn't live in London, lives outside of London, so it really falls down to the director who actually lives in London.
Mm.
um, and she's managed to approach different areas of the community and put in bidding. So she does a lot of funding applications. She does
Yeah.
a lot of meeting with different agencies and pushing the Community Massage London.
Mm.
So out of that, we work, as well as that. She's had to recruit therapists who to do the work, because it can't be done by just two people.
Yeah.
Currently, I think there's about 8 to 10 therapists
Great.
who are working,
Mm.
but I think there's a small core who are doing most of the work, and then we have other therapists who drop in and out because they have family
Yeah.
commitments and travel commitments and all sorts of different issues,
Yeah.
which so at the moment I think there's about ten therapists who provide the services. So
Mm.
we did start out with Hammersmith and Fulham Borough,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was this, out of the Grenfell, there was this tri-borough thing just before Grenfell it happened, but there was tri-borough. So there's Hammersmith and Fulham, Kensington and Chelsea, and Westminster.
Okay. Yep.
These boroughs worked together
Mm.
with services, and round about the just before, round about Grenfell, Hammersmith and Fulham pulled out of that. So now we just got Kensington and Chelsea, Westminster, and a little bit of Brent
Okay.
that we cover.
Mm.
And so we attend different, so each you'd say estate.
Mm-hmm.
So like the White City Estate has a tenants association,
Mm-hmm.
the Clematley Estate has a tenants association. What other, so Notting Hill Methodist Church has another association.
Yeah.
And so she's approached all the different community association. Kensington West has an association. So she's approved all of these different associations
Mm.
get funding to pay for us to go in and deliver seated chair massage
Okay.
in all these
Yeah.
areas. So most of the community events are seated chair massage.
Hmm.
And then out of that, other, because we're working in the communities like that, other um, areas see what we're doing and ask for our services. So we were
Mm.
attending SMART services, which is for mental health in
Okay.
Kensington and Chelsea. So we were attending there. We had quite a bit of work with SMART, which is I can't recall what SMART actually means, but it's to do with people with mental health. So
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
pretty mobile.
Hmm.
They're they range between the ages of 20 to 70 or odd.
Mm. Yeah.
And so we're seeing a big cross section of the community and dealing with different types of people. And they're coming for chair massage.
Yeah.
Um, in so that's another organization that asked us to come in. And then we have the carers association. So for all of these areas, they have people who care for them. And so as an event, they ask us to come in to provide massage for the carers.
Yes.
And so they'll have a little event. We're gonna, thank our carers, and as a part of that, you can have reflexology, chair massage, those kind of services. So they provide events to to thank their
Mm.
carers, and we do quite a few of those.
Mm.
This year we did Age UK
Hmm.
did wanted an event for their carers,
Yeah.
so they asked us to come in, and they had all sorts of things going up, all sorts of events going on in the Age UK
Yeah.
Care Centre. That was in Hammersmith and Fulham, Age UK, and then they asked us to provide massage, chair massage.
Yeah.
And for all those services, we're paid for it. So it's not done for free. We're not.
Yes.
It's the funding. They pay us, or they put the money up front, and then we're asked, is anyone free to do this? Is anyone able to do this? So
Yeah.
the director will just send out an email and said, we've got this event coming up. Can is anyone able to cover those events?
Yeah.
And so we let her know, and then she can book us in, and then we go off and do the event.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
There is so much to it, and I have so many questions, Claire, because
Mm.
it's really great to hear a solid example of something that hasn't just been set up in the past 6 months, but this has been going for what, almost a decade now.
Yeah, it started, yeah, around about, yes, it
Yeah.
has been, because I joined in 2019,
Okay.
but it was running before that.
Yeah.
It was already running, uh, 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 and yeah, it,
Yeah. Okay. So
so
the
uh,
funding that your director gets is what pays the
mm,
therapists and pays the costs
yeah,
and all that kind of thing.
yeah,
Do the clients pay anything at all?
yes. So, for example, they would come along, and I think, how much do they, Queen Caroline? I think they pay either £10, or I think there's a £10 charge.
Okay.
So the Estate Tenants Association pay us the money, our salary, out for to
Yeah.
cover the massage therapist.
Yeah.
And but the clients, they pay the association. So they have their association people, and they collect the money. So I think it's about £10, around about £10, I think, is the
Yeah.
maximum cost.
Yeah.
For the Clematly one, I think it's £5.
Hmm.
And It's interesting. It really is interesting. But I have to say, it I'm almost moved to see how much the people in the community value this service. I've seen people. I've got one lady I can think of who she walks with both arms as crutches because of her knees.
Mm.
She has pain everywhere, and she comes in, and she always comes to see me. Um, and she will. It takes her 20 minutes to do something like a 5 minute walk across the estate.
Yeah.
It takes her a lot of time, a lot of effort to get there.
Mm.
And she'll come in and she'll pay a little bit more than the £5. But for her, once a month, that makes such a difference just to have her neck and her shoulders,
Yeah.
because she has pain on her shoulders and her neck and her head. And just to have that scene, someone to touch that and just give her some sense
Mm.
of relief from that pain. And, one time she was on her way over and the wind was blowing and it blew her over.
Oh no.
So she didn't make it. That's how frail she is.
Oh goodness.
That's how frail. But, and we even if they're running late, we try and make sure that we're there because
Yeah.
they value it so much. They really
Yeah.
do, so yeah, so we do charge our clients.
Mm, yeah. And it's that thing of actually, if people put in a thing, there's that transaction going on. So although it's
Yeah.
not they pay you and that's it, and it's a little bit more complicated, they're still actively saying, yes, I value this. I am going to put money to this. And I think, it's not the only way of doing things at all, but I think it is really valuable yeah, letting that energy
Mm,
flow both ways.
mm,
Yeah. Well, what was the other thing? So you've said you do about once a month in these communities, that you're
mm,
there about once a month. When people come for the first time, whether it
mm,
was when you started,
mhm.
or whether it's since then, what kind of responses do you get from people? Is there resistance? Are they just delighted to have something to do? Like, what's going on there?
Well, first of all, when they come, they usually have already booked on. So we've got like a
Okay.
booking system,
Yep.
and they have so the association or the organization advertises
Hmm.
that we're going to be there on such and such a day. You need to come here, and if you want it, you book
Yep.
and you pay.
Yeah.
You see, so they're coming aware that this is what they're booking on for. So we're not just there
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they
Yeah.
see us. So that there is a system of booking in.
Yeah.
Um, when it's for the first time, you explain to them what's going to happen. You make
Mhm.
sure this is what they want. They've already signed up for it when they've come to for their session. They
Mm.
will have met with one of our admin people who will have spoken to them, taken their money, and they're aware of what's
Mm.
happening. So when they get to when they get to me or the other therapists, we've already got a captured audience, as it was, and
Yeah.
it's just for us to explain what we're going to do
Okay.
and how they need to be to get the best out of the treatment.
Mm. So have you been fully booked since the very first sessions that you've done?
It depends on where you're working.
Okay.
Um, but when we did, oh gosh, it it can be very, very busy, and it's usually fully booked. So
Yeah.
before they come and see us, they've already booked in. They're already there, and we're there for about 4 hours, 4 hours tops.
Mm.
And you're talking one, two, three treatments,
Yep.
about 20-minute treatments,
Yep.
some of them. And so your move and it's fully booked for
Yes.
two therapists.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And what's happened is since the funding, because we're getting less and less funding coming through, because every year we have to apply for funding, and you know how it is. They're
Mm.
thinking, and there's other bids going in, and so you're just waiting to see if you get the funding, and then you get less funding, and so we've only just have now we have one chair massage and one reflexologist,
Okay.
and so they get reflexology or chair massage,
Yeah.
and we're usually fully booked.
Great.
When there's when there's a slot where there's no one, you say, yeah, I can have tea, I can have a bit of cake, I can. Oh, and then then the next one comes, but we do have a little bit of respite, because sometimes one of the admin people who can do chair massage, if I feel like I need a break, she'll come in and
Yeah.
cover for me while I'm having a break, or
Yeah.
we'll work like that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
So
we are pretty busy. We
yeah.
are busy.
So for the regular events, actually, all the outreach has been done for you. You don't have
Yeah.
to do getting people through the door. So what's it like on the one-off events, like the carers events and this kind of thing? Is it similar? Do they pre-book, or do they just turn up?
They You see, because what is really great is that as the delivering therapist, you have to do nothing. You just turn up
Yeah.
and do the work.
Yeah.
So there's always someone out there who's making, we always make sure there's someone, even if it's not a therapist, someone of the organization
Yeah.
is sorting that out. We do
Wonderful.
not we do not have to concern ourselves with
Yeah.
any of that whatsoever. They just ask for two therapists who can cover on that day, and you just turn up with your oils or whatever it is you're
Yeah.
bringing,
Yeah.
and you just do the treatment.
Yeah.
You're not involved with any of that nonsense.
Now, this all sounds fantastic,
Mm,
and presumably that's because your director, her name's Teresa, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So Teresa is basically doing all the stuff that us as massage therapists would rather someone else did, and she's doing it for you. Is that kind of?
Well, what it is that we've, for each session, we've got, it doesn't have to be her. We've got
Yes.
two people or one person who is doing all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've managed to, there's been money to employ an admin person,
Great.
and she comes along for one of the sessions. There's another session where Teresa and another lady does
Yeah.
the admin. And there's other sessions where the Tenants Association
Yeah.
members who have organized it do the admin. They've got all the telephone numbers. They'll ring the people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They'll check, are you running late? Are you going to be there? That sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
I've done it recently. I've been on the admin side, and
Hmm.
you just take the money, take the booking, make sure they're there. You check the time, because sometimes therapists overrun, and then you go in and, oh, you've got so and so waiting. Okay, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they make sure you kind of stick to the time.
Yeah. I guess where I was really going is my impression, and I want to check this out, is that Teresa, kind of in this role of coordinator for the organization,
Yeah,
she was the one who was approaching people for the funding,
yeah,
making those kind of network connections in the community so that
yeah,
systems and that there are systems in place, like whenever there's massage going on, there's someone, whether it's the admin person or all these other folks who you've suggested for the different places, to cover so that it works really smoothly. And I
yeah,
think that was more what I was thinking of, and whether it's actually Teresa doing it now, but she was the one who set up the systems, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and
I mean, we just did we did a one-off event. It was the Sands End Community Festival.
mm,
So, it was a lovely event. I mean, it was brilliant. And they had music, they had dancing, they had all sorts of things going on, face painting, what have you. And in that people were just coming up and booking because
Yeah.
we didn't have any bookings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I've learned to do is, if you got no bookings, just start working on each other, and then people see it and they think, yes, I want a bit of that. And so
Absolutely.
the bookings went off the roof once they saw. And so we had two people who were taking them down, telling them the times.
Yeah.
And so Teresa was at that one, and
Yeah.
the other lady, and so they were organizing all of that, and all we were doing was doing the massage. um we did the North End Road Carnival earlier
Mm.
this month, uh the North End Road Market Festival. So it's a regular market, but they decided to close off the road and have a festival, and we were in that.
Mm.
And on that occasions, there was no one doing any bookings. People were just walking past, seeing us, saying, "Can I have a massage?" Yes, we were collecting money on this occasion, so we all had we used SumUp on
Yes.
our phones, so
Yeah.
we were using the our phones, and so they were paying,
Yeah.
tapping, and then getting on. So it's, if the chair was empty and someone was passing by and they saw they liked it, on they got.
Yeah.
So there was no admin, there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
First come, first serve,
Yeah.
and we were just doing massage like that and collecting money at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so it works.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, Obviously, there's a team of massage therapists now, as well
Mm.
as Teresa. Does Teresa still massage as well?
Yes, yeah, because
Every now and again.
at on the North End Road, she was in there,
Nice.
and she she does more. She does massage. She's not so much at the community massage events in and around the borough,
Yeah.
but she does massage on the other side of our work.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. Great. And are there any other attributes that make a good Teresa? I'm just thinking, if people are sort of saying, I don't think I'm that person who goes out and gets the funding, but maybe there's someone in my community who is. What are there any characteristics that are kind of essential or helpful for being that coordinator person? Because without the coordinator, there's no company, there's no massage going on.
I think what she said was that she'd already been in the kind of work where she was involved. You have to be able to sit in um, board meetings and
Yeah.
things like that. You have to be able to go through these papers, because she gets a lot of funding applications, and she has to put them in. She has to have the deadlines and put them
Yeah.
in the deadline. So you have to have that kind of mentality where you can think methodically.
Yeah.
And uh, I think that's what it is.
Mm.
She'd already had that kind of experience, I suppose, in
Okay.
her previous work,
Yeah.
and so she kind of transfer that into the massage. So she I didn't actually ask her what she did before she was doing massage, or she but I, I believe she had some experience of
Yes.
that already,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
lent itself to that. And so she felt able to go to these
Mm.
meetings and set this up and keep, like a little bulldog with a bee.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And some of those skills, like applying for funding and that kind of thing, I know around me up in Scotland, there are various business initiatives, support things. Sometimes you pay for them, sometimes they're free, that can help people grow those skills if they want to be that person doing that work. But it's great that Teresa had them already and she could just kind of
Mm.
fly from there. Yeah.
I think, but I think she did use those business skills, because they tell you what you need to say to get what you need to get.
Yep.
So they know their way around the paperwork.
How to tick their boxes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and that's where it comes in handy if you're looking to set up something like that,
Mm,
really to go along to those groups and actually apply for that support,
mm,
and you get it.
yeah.
They'll work with you around it
Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and help you to put in the application, but you also have to be hit the ground running,
Yes.
because a few people have start gone for these, got it, but not really taken off.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So you have to be clear about how you're going to go forward with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and not that, oh, in 6 months' time we might have done something. It's like, no, actually, we're delivering now
Yeah,
straight away. Yeah. Yeah, 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 absolutely. And just sticking with this for one more question, possibly two, but definitely one. In some ways, this is a little bit like being a therapist who says, yes, I'll do some event work, tell me where I need to be, what gear I need to have, and what the kind of stuff is. Are
mm.
there any other skills or attributes that you think have been particularly helpful for you or therapists you've worked alongside um, in this particular environment, working with this particular demographic?
I think because I've worked along, she's had a couple of therapists who have been and because and I think one of the things is very much, and I know when I say people person, you you're working with people with disabilities,
Yeah,
so you have to be able to adapt
yeah,
that to what you're doing.
yeah,
And sometimes you may have to say, look, this isn't going to really, you do your best around it, put it that
yeah,
way, because what they're coming for is the touch.
yeah,
They want relief. And sometimes, for example, I've seen people who have thought, no, the chair, this seated chair, you're not going to make it.
yeah.
But I've made sure that, for example, I've been able to sit them down
Yes.
on so you have to be flexible around what you're
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
not every what person is going to fit into that box.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you've got an idea what you're doing with a seated massage, and then the person comes and they can't kneel, they
Yep.
can't bend their knees, they come along and getting it's challenging.
Yeah.
So fortunately we're working in places where I can pull up a chair, I can do something with them.
Mm.
I usually take a stool depending
Yep.
on where I am. So, for example, if there's a chair, can you sit on this stool?
Yep.
You know, and I've sort of done a neck and shoulders massage,
Yep.
head, with them sitting,
Yep.
leaning against me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've worked. So you you have to be able to adapt, um, and listen as well,
Yeah.
and to what the person is saying to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes the other thing is to have a good tool for finding out what's going on, and a quick one, like, do you have this, do you have numbness, do you have fainting episodes, are you do you suffer from hypertension? Just a very quick questioning tool, so that gives you you have an idea of what you're going to be working with.
Mm.
I think the only time it's ever happened to me is I had a lady who, she got off okay, and then she sat down and then she fainted.
Okay. Yeah.
That can happen.
Yeah.
So you have to be ready for that, or make sure you've got safety
Yeah.
issues that can deal with safety. Fortunately, her family were there,
Yes.
so and her hypertension, her blood pressure must have dropped
Yeah.
when
Okay.
she got up. So you've got to have
Yeah.
some awareness of how to deal with the unexpected.
Yes. And I mean, in many ways, both of those things, being willing to adapt and listening, are things that are fundamental to our profession. And I know that you, as a very experienced therapist, um, have a lot of history behind you, but also I know you're quite creative in how you work and being happy to say, okay, I'm going to do what works for this client today. I'm going to look after myself within that, but for this client, it needs to be a bit different. So in some ways, it's like, well, yeah, every therapist got that, surely. But I appreciate you have had therapists who don't necessarily have that particular approach.
I remember one day I was working with a therapist. She was doing reflexology. I'd I finished my chair massage and I had a bit of a break. I didn't have another client, so I went off to get myself a coffee.
Okay.
Came back and she had a client in her chair, the reflexology chair.
Yeah.
She was on the phone and she was organizing, she was buying a new house and she was speaking to the estate agent out loud on the phone. And I thought, what the hell's
No.
going on?
No.
Unfortunately, for us, it was one of the people who who were the owner, the staff in the establishment we were working in.
Okay.
So they were a member of staff, and so we said, well, if we got a minute, come and have a massage.
Yeah.
And so this was going on while the lady was sitting in the chair
Okay.
having a reflexology, and there was this therapist speaking to the estate agent on loudspeaker. So not every therapist. So you might assume we're all like that. You might assume
Yes,
it's a
but we all know that assumptions make asses of you and me.
and me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, and I think that's fair. And I think for people who are brand new to the profession, that's not a reason not to do something like this. It's
Mm,
just having that awareness that people who have lived with deprivation for however long in their life, whether it's from
mm,
birth or something happened during their life, um, sometimes that means life has really got on top of them and they need a little bit more support. It's not just, I'd like a massage, I'll get on your chair and off I go again. Sometimes it's physical disability, sometimes it's mental health issues, whatever it happens to be. But having that kind of muscle built is only going to serve people in their massage practice.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is,
Yes.
and we're not even talking about voluntary stuff. Like this is actually paid.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's a whole other world around voluntary stuff, which I'm sure we'll have a conversation about at some point. Maybe not you and me, but generally. Good stuff. Now, there's another thing that you do, which I think is really interesting too, which is the GP referrals. Can you tell us about that?
Okay. So this, I would say, this is funding through the NHS,
Okay.
social prescribing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where the I think it's the quality the commissioners the commissioners, so the
Yeah.
Northwest London Commissioning um, group, I think it is, and they have like a board where different agencies and interested bodies attend,
Yes.
and in these board, and it's right over, well, I know for us it's right across the Northwest London.
Right.
No, and so you're taking quite a lot of boroughs in that
Yeah.
commissioning, and so they decide what the agenda is and where the money goes
Yeah.
and where they're going to target. And so through the Northwest London Commissioning Group,
Mm-hmm.
money is targeted to each area,
Mm.
and so the local authority will send them their what's the word, their agenda and the initiatives that they're looking to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so the community groups kind of feed into that, and that goes up to the commissioning group.
Okay. Yeah.
And so with for example, Kensington and Chelsea, they have the Kensington and Chelsea social group,
Okay.
and so we attend that in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And so the the social prescribing bit of it, so they targeted mental
Yeah.
health, they target all sorts of areas around that they think the community needs
Mm.
some kind of service, and so we get some funding out of that.
Okay.
and that has to be applied for.
Yep.
And so with the My Care My Way, it's called My Care My Way. The a part of like the social prescribing
Okay.
is
Yep.
that the GPs use that. I think you see. So I'm not too clear on how that works, but I know that it's a part of, and social prescribing is a government initiative,
Yep.
so it comes right down
Yep.
to the communities, and so GPs have access to that. And so I think the GP practices get some kind of funding through for social prescribing, and they can decide what they use that for.
And
And
that's the patient's deciding, isn't it?
yeah, yes, yeah,
Okay.
because there's certain. So, for example, under the My Care My Way, you've got advice, benefits advice, different kinds of advice. You've
Hmm.
got mental health, referring to counseling, referring, to
Yeah.
talking therapies.
Yeah.
You've got, um, access to, things like sports and gyms and all the rest
Hmm.
of it. They get access to those kind of services
Yeah.
for their health. I think I'm not sure about physiotherapy, but they get those
Okay.
kind of access. So somehow someone in Kensington and Chelsea likes us, or understands the benefits of massage,
Yeah.
and put aside some money for that.
Great.
And so we've been able to tap into that. And so the GPs use it. I'm We've had a bit of a lull since March because the funding stopped in March, and we've just been given back funding, so it's coming back in now.
Yeah.
They were just deciding where they're going to give the money to, and so they decided to give us the money back because there were other agencies bidding for this pot of money.
Yeah. Now, when you say we and us in terms of the GP referrals through the My Care My Way kind of
Hmm.
process, and there are so many nuances in every different area, so we won't worry too
Mm-hmm.
much about those. Um, who exactly is the we? Is it the community massage company that does like the community stuff, or is it another we? Is it another group?
Um, no, for the I mean, what we do is, well, my understanding is,
Mm.
um, we put in our bid and say this is what we do, and we can provide this, and this,
Uh-huh.
and then the My Care My Way say, yeah, we'll have you involved in uh, the overall care of the Kenton.
That we, is that like you as an individual therapist saying, I think I should be on your books, or is it a group of you?
A group of us. So
Oh,
it's a community massage London. It's still the community,
okay.
but
Okay. Yes.
it's called, yeah, it's called Life in Balance. So it's Life in Balance. So the community massage is a separate group which we all are involved with, but the My Care My Way is Life in Balance.
Okay, but it's very similar people in
And
both groups.
it's the same people, but
Okay.
we've called it a different. It's under a different business name.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the money. So when I do the My Care My Way,
Yeah.
I get paid by Life in Balance.
Yeah.
When I do all the community events, I get paid by the Community Massage London. But it's the same entity. It's the same
Well, it's the same people,
people, but a different
different
entities. Yeah,
entity. Okay.
yeah.
And does it have to be more than just an individual therapist bidding for this pot of money around the social prescribing?
No, it's not an individual therapist. What it is, it's again, it's our director,
Sorry,
Teresa.
I didn't ask the question very well. I know that for you, it's your director who set up this separate entity
Yeah.
bid for the money. What I'm wondering about is whether, as an individual therapist, you could have applied for that pot of money or not.
That I'm not sure of. And I think I really, again, it has to be not as an individual therapist, but more as a business. So, for example, if
Okay.
I do touch for well-being,
Yeah.
um, I would imagine that if I wanted to apply for that funding, I'd have to put forward my business plan.
Okay.
I'd have to put forward how I intend to meet that service,
Yeah.
because we're working across not just one small practice. We're talking about, because with social prescribing in that way, you'd you'd have the GP practices right across the board. We've
Yeah.
got different areas of that. So I would say it's not as simple as just one individual therapist. You could do it. You could apply
Mhm.
for that
Yeah. Yeah.
as your business,
Yeah.
but you'd have to be able to deliver and
Yeah.
deliver in a big way.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, now I've worked with, and you see, it goes through to the social services, the social workers
Hmm.
send in referrals, the GP practices send in referrals.
Yeah.
They have My Care My Way administrators sending in referrals.
Yeah.
So you get in referrals in from a number of
Okay.
different
Yeah.
areas. Once they get to know that you're there and you do this, you're getting referrals in from quite a lot of sources.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you'd have to have I think, more than one therapist
Okay.
delivering on that level.
Yeah.
Because just before, in March, my books was full, quite filled with the different referrals. And you see, for each and coming with that, each client has 6 sessions.
Yes.
So you have to be able to deliver 6 sessions. And if you've got 12 people on your books,
Yeah.
6 sessions each, you're going to have to be very, very good at organizing.
Yeah.
And as well as that, we've got, under the My Care My Way, because you're working with people over the age of 65. That's the other thing. That's one
Okay.
of the criteria. They
Yeah.
have to be over 65
Yeah.
with some kind of disability or some kind of concern. The referral sends the referral through to My Care My Way,
Hmm.
and then someone in My Care My Way sends it through to our director, and then she sends it through to us.
Yes.
So there's a system of referring, and there's it's on computer,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you can go on and have a look and see who's being referred. But there's quite a few referrals,
Yeah.
and in the midst of all that, you have people who don't necessarily need to be seen, and those patients we see at home.
Yeah.
So it's mobile massage. We see
Yeah.
them in their homes, especially if they're frail
Yes.
and over 65.
Yeah.
And then we have those who can make it to a center. So we hired 2 centers. There's one in the South Kensington
Hmm.
area, and they go along to see one of our therapists, and she runs a session I think twice a week. She's there,
Yeah.
and they come in for an hour's massage,
Yeah.
like you do,
Yeah.
ordinary massage,
Yeah.
but her books are full. And then I was running mine from my treatment room. So I
Mm.
have a treatment room in Hammersmith,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'll ring them up and say, "Do you want to come and see me?" Or if it's a center-based massage, they come and see me at my treatment room.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'll say, "I don't want you to come to my home. Where are you?" And I'll tell them where I am, and they come.
Yeah.
So they were coming to my
Mm.
treatment room, and I was seeing them in amongst my
Yeah.
private patients.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was seeing NHS as well as my private patients. So
Yeah.
so and I think there was another center as well. Oh yeah, another center. So we were running 3 centers, three
Okay.
center base.
Yeah.
So I don't think you could have just one therapist doing that.
No, no, no. It needs to be collaborative. There needs to be a team going. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Claire, we've talked about an awful lot. I think it feels like we're nearing the end of our conversation on this particular topic. So I was just interested, for you, is there anything else that you want to share about your experience, or anything that we haven't touched on that you think is important?
Um, I think it's majority of the people who I see coming through for their from my care my way are people who have been living in pain for a long while,
Yeah.
chronic pain. We've some of them. They're people who have real emotional issues.
Mm.
That you know, it's rare with the my care my way people that you get them to know, I'm just going to have a nice massage.
Yeah.
And they do eventually get to that stage, but especially with the Grenfell people that I've been seeing, I mean, I think one of the things that I'm really grateful to Four Elements and what I've learned
Mm.
is that the talk beforehand.
Yeah. Okay.
We talk to our clients, and I never spend more than it's never more than a 10-minute chat,
Sure.
because and we, you know, the four questions you ask: how do you want to feel? How do you want to walk?
Yeah.
What will I see? And what will the dog see, or whatever, when you're leaving, has kept me safe.
Yes.
So the communication training that we've had has kept me completely safe
Brilliant.
in those instances, because someone will tell you a story of what they've witnessed, what they've gone through, and you think, and you don't want to get in there with them.
No.
You have to maintain that sense of adult and really get them on the table and do the touch,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, Claire.
because most of the people I see are broken, have been broken in some way,
Yeah.
whether it's emotional, physical.
Yep.
um that they've been going through pain, real pain, and the GP says, all right, then go along and have a massage. And they'll fill in the referral and send them for a massage because they've got to the end of the
Yeah.
pain, the pain, whatever. And, you know, some of them are working people, you know, they're working, they're trying to keep it, and they're in this pain. And then, you know, over the course of the 6 treatments, you realize that pain is because of something far more deep.
Yeah.
Let's go there with the treatment,
Yeah.
you know, and the stuff that comes up. And so, you know, it's about keeping a sense of adult, keeping a sense of knowing what you're doing with the touch that you're delivering.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I've got from that,
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, and
really.
I can absolutely resonate with all of that, in that kind of,
Mm.
okay, it's focused, it's boundaried, it's increasing the potency of the treatment, it's keeping you safe, it's keeping the client safe, all of that good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else that you want to throw
And
in?
I really, it's really fun, but I'm
Yeah.
tired. It's really fun. It really is fun. And the other thing is to keep yourself. The other thing I think is to keep yourself always learning.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know what people are coming through the door with,
No.
and it's understanding the body and what you're treating, and when they're talking to you about their pains and everything, just knowing what you're targeting and not get into that pain. Just
Yeah.
understanding the human body and knowing, and not knowing your limits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the things I've learned. So other than that,
Claire, thank you so much for your time. I really, really value it, because what the work that you're involved with is so important, and so needed and so absent a lot of the time. And I loved it when you brought it up in the kind of, where do we want to be with our profession in 5 years' time? And to be able to talk it through with you a little bit more now, absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much. And are you taking on new clients at the moment? You want to do another
um,
plug?
what I'm not. No, I'm not hunting for clients, but I've had, because you're out there and you're being seen. Because when you're doing these massage, and you're in the events, people see you, they notice what you do, and they get on the chair, they get touched, they think, can I see you?
Yeah.
And so yes, so I am seeing people who contact me more than anything else, but I'm not out there hunting
Yeah.
for people. No, not
Okay, so if people can track you down, they might find a free slot, but we're not going to actively publicize your practice. Okay,
no.
good stuff. Good stuff. Great. Thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to leave the recording on in case we say something particularly exciting, but I'm not sure we will.
Mm.
Honestly, thank you. That was great. That was so clear, and it was so interesting as well, and so many layers to it. It's not an easy thing that Teresa has created, but so needed.
It is. I mean, I think, I don't know what motivates her, but I think it is just making sure it's there for people.
Yeah.
And not only that, she says it all the time. Therapists need to be paid. Yes, it's needed, but we need to be paid.
Yeah.
We're not going to go in there and just, oh, come along and you'll have a nice free massage. No, it's we need to be paid for our services. And so I think her main goal is, this needs to be very much a part of care, social care,
Mm.
part of social care for the carers as well as the people being cared for.
Yeah.
Because I've been in, and I've seen a woman who's been in her bed, and I've been giving her a massage, and then afterwards I've had to, her husband was referred, and her husband was getting the massage because he was her carer.
Yeah.
To see, so I'd seen two at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll see her, he make sure she's comfortable, then I'll see him.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing. And just that respite for him. And I could see he really got a lot out of it, that respite. And, and so I think, Teresa, I really, I support her as much as I can.
Mm.
Because I realized at first it was hard for me to understand what was going on. But once I really understood what was going on, I do whatever I can to, when I say going on, how everything was organized, how much she
Yeah.
was putting in.
Yeah.
When we're sort of, there's some set therapists who just come along,
Yeah.
do the work because they want the money.
Yeah.
They want the money, and they're not looking beyond doing that and getting the money. And you see it in how they deliver their treatments.
Yeah.
And then there's some who are actually there really making sure that the clients get the best.
Mm.
And and promoting the service.
Yeah.
So I do what I can to support her. For example, how I know about the My Care My Way is because she'd gone down into central London to an event, to cover an event, and at the same time the My Care My Way meeting was on. So she asked me to attend that
Gotcha.
because she
Okay.
said, well, she said, you know, you're one of the few people who I think has the wherewithal to attend it. And I think it's because I've got experience of being in committee meetings,
Yeah.
and you know, you have to have that kind of experience of when to talk and the agendas and all the rest of it. So
Yeah.
I've got that experience, and she picked up that I had that experience, and
Yeah.
so she kind of asked me to attend on her behalf because she
Mm.
couldn't go, and you know, and so you know, I support her
Yeah.
if I can.
Fantastic,
Mm,
Claire. Fantastic.
mm.